Hey guys, what's going on? Hey, I wanted to bring something up because I've been, like, behind the closed doors. I've been following this case since way before I started my channel. And it's a gentleman by the name, a young kid by the name of Jay Slater. I'm sure a lot of y'all know about it. It happened on the island in Tenerife. And it was a whole big massive search. It was a huge massive thing. Turns out, trigger warning, that he had been with a couple of guys that were up to no good, right? And they invited him back to their Airbnb, and then it was a massive search party. They looked and looked and looked. They had searched the area so many times and never had any luck. And then it was all a mystery, right? Because then all of a sudden, seems like $30K was pulled out of a GoFundMe and paid to somebody that said that he owed money from something that was going on over there, some underworld stuff, and then that was paid, and the next day they find him, right? In the same area they had searched with dogs and everything for a month, almost. I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with the Jay Slater case. I'm sure some of y'all are, but this case I've always felt like it had to do with the Lucy May Law girl, Brad, Tom Hilton, and Joaquin, the two guys, Rocky and Joaquin, right? I think it was all a setup because it's like they go to these rave things and it's all about, they carry these bags around and they moving products out of these bags, right, for money, and then they have to turn into bags at the end of the rave, and it's a huge big thing. I don't know if y'all have watched it, but I'm going to do a deep dive into it tonight for y'all guys because this guy has finally come out and spoke on a podcast. After all this time, he's finally broke his silence, right? And you can tell by his face, and most likely, I mean, this is my opinion, guys, allegedly in my opinion, right? This is all my speculations, my theories, my thoughts, my free speech, but they had something to do with it, I feel. And I think everybody feels the same way, except for them. And it's a huge, big mess. There was surveillance tape seen. There's a bunch of stuff. There was a fight on the beach. There was all this stuff about someone getting with a, you'll have to, I'll break it down tonight because I don't know what I can say yet and what I can't. But I wanted to bring it up because it's this case that's stuck in my head. And I always felt like I think in the beginning, because the GoFundMe started immediately, like within 20 minutes of this kid being reported missing by his friend. But then when they track phone data, it looks like this Lucy May Law had his phone, or Brad had his phone. And it was all like a setup from this guy, Tom Hilton, that, you know, Jay Slater had gotten into a thing with a few years before. And they got into like a fight. And evidently this guy was almost beat, you know, to unaliveness, and Tom Hilton I'm talking about, and so it was Jay Slater was one of the people in that little gang or whatever, and so it was like a retaliation thing is what a lot of people think, but I think there's way more to this. I think it's more of an underworld thing than it is anything else, and I think it was part of a setup, but I think it was mainly the payback was from that Brad Hilton guy, right? Like he wanted Jay Slater to pay for what had done to him, you know. But it was also like 7 or 8 boys involved. It wasn't just Jay Slater. So I've always felt that it was something really, really shady about this whole thing. And I have a lot of notes. And I found them because last night when I was looking over a few things, I found them. And then when I went and started researching again, I found that this man had spoke on a podcast, and everybody's been waiting for him to speak. He did a 2-hour podcast, and this is a man that was in prison for 9 years for substances, you know, like selling of substances, right? And was caught, right? And so it was a huge, big conspiracy, right? Like that's what everybody made it out to be. But really, I think that this poor kid was unalived by these people. They were the last ones to see him. They made up all these stories. They used his phone and put a picture of someone else on there that wasn't him and said he had stole a watch and all this stuff. I'm sure it'll all come back to y'all guys. I'll remember it. But I'm just going to say I'm going to do a deep dive into this tonight. And I really want to talk about it because this 2-hour interview, I haven't watched it yet. But I'm so excited that he finally came out to speak because I'm hoping that we can grab so much from this speech, right? And you know how I am with interviews. Like, I want to be able to break it all down and dig on this and see, because I've always felt like this kid never got justice. And I feel like he's very deserving of justice. And it's a kid that has turned life around. He was a bricklayer in Lancaster, and he had become a good child. And then all of a sudden, a young man, I would say, boom, his first time he ever leaves home on a trip, he never comes back. And so it's really like, there's a whole bunch to it that I want to break down for y'all guys. But I just kind of wanted to give y'all a little rundown, right? It's the Jay Slater case out of Tenerife. Y'all can go search it. You'll see what I'm talking about if you don't already know it, which I'm sure most of y'all do. It was huge. It was like the Sebastian case. It was huge. And it went on for 29, 30 days, and then even months after it went on. And because everybody was saying this kid was set up, he was set up, and I do believe that. I really do. And I think that there's a way to break this down to show y'all that I believe that it was a setup from the get-go. And I think this poor kid, when he left home with these people that he trusted, I don't think he should have trusted them at all. And there was too many wishy-washy stories and lies from all these kids that, you know, that went on. And I think that's what's going to break it down. But I kind of wanted to just take a second, bring it up. I'm so excited about this interview. I got to watch it, and I got to break it down. And then tonight I'm going to come on and give you all a thing, because I can listen to this while we're out searching today, right? I can listen to this interview because it's on a podcast. So I just want to let y'all know what I'm going to do tonight, because I think this case really deserves a really, really deep dive, right? I really believe that. So if y'all guys feel the same, let me know in the comments. I'm going to break it down, though, one way or another, because it means something to me. I've always thought that there was something shady. So remember, allegedly, these are all my opinions, my thoughts, my speculation, my free speech, guys. Trigger warning times 50 million. And I will see y'all a little later tonight, guys. If not before that. If I get any updates, I'll see y'all before that. All right, guys, y'all be good. We love y'all. We'll see y'all later. All right, bye.